You wake up on a Tuesday morning like any other. Alarm at 7, coffee, a quick glance at your phone, your banking app opens automatically, and there it is. The number you've been quietly building for 3 years. $47,200. Sitting in your savings account, safe, untouched. You close the app and feel something most people your age don't feel anymore. You feel okay. You're not wealthy, but you're responsible. You work. You budget. Every single month, you move a portion of your paycheck into that savings account. You don't gamble it on stocks. You don't throw it into crypto because someone online told you to. You do what your parents taught you, what every bank poster in every lobby has been telling you your entire life. Save your money, keep it safe, trust the system, and for a long time, it felt like enough. Because here's what nobody told you, what no bank poster, no financial advisor, no government pamphlet ever explained in plain language. A savings account is not a vault. It never was. That idea was sold to you, deliberately, over decades, built into textbooks, reinforced by governments, repeated by institutions that had everything to gain from your trust. Your $47,200 is sitting in that account right now. But the question nobody is asking you, the question that changes everything, is this: safe from what exactly? Because the danger to your money was never a thief. It was never dramatic or loud or visible. It was quiet. It was slow. And it started the moment you made your very first deposit. Let's talk about what actually happens the moment your money enters a bank. You imagine a vault, your name on a box, your $47,200 sitting there, waiting, protected, yours. That's not what happens. The moment your deposit clears, the bank lends out 90% of it to strangers, to businesses at 8, 12, sometimes 24% interest. Your money is now simultaneously owed to you and circulating as someone else's loan. The bank profits from your trust, handsomely, and what do you get in return? 0.5% interest, maybe 1%. Meanwhile, inflation is running at 6, 7, sometimes 8% per year. Do that math slowly. Your savings account earns 1%. Inflation eats 7%. Every year you leave your money sitting there, you lose 6% of its real value. Not visibly, the number on your screen stays the same. But what that number can actually buy, groceries, rent, emergencies, shrinks. Quietly, permanently. This is not an accident. Central banks have deliberately kept savings rates below inflation for decades. There is a term for this: financial repression. It sounds technical. It was designed to sound technical, because if ordinary people understood what it meant, they would be furious. Financial repression means the system has been engineered so that saving money in a bank guarantees you slowly lose wealth. Not quickly enough to cause panic, just slowly enough that you keep trusting while the system keeps extracting. And then came the money printing. In 2020 alone, governments printed more new currency than had existed in the previous century combined. Every new dollar printed diluted every dollar already in existence, including every dollar in your savings account. You weren't consulted, you were simply handed the bill. Your $47,200 didn't shrink on the screen. But in the real world, in the world of grocery prices and rent increases, it had already begun disappearing. And the hardest part? You were doing everything right. The rules were the trap. It starts with a notification you almost ignore. A regional bank has suspended withdrawals. Officials on television use words like temporary and precautionary, the exact words institutions use when they need you to stay calm long enough for them to figure out what to do. You open your banking app. You try to move your savings. Just a transfer. Something small. The screen spins. Then, transaction temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. Your stomach drops. This moment has happened before, many times, in many countries, to many ordinary people who also believed they were safe. In 2001, Argentina froze every private bank account overnight. Citizens who had spent lifetimes saving woke up unable to access a single peso. When the freeze ended, their savings had lost a third of their real value. They did nothing wrong. They trusted the system completely. In 2013, Cyprus didn't just freeze accounts, it reached inside them. Deposits were seized directly to bail out the very institutions that had failed. They called it a bail-in. In 2008, retirement accounts across America lost an average of 38% in under 14 months. Not because people made bad decisions, because the system made catastrophic ones and handed ordinary people the consequences. These are not ancient history. These are previews. You stand in line at the ATM now. So does your neighbor. The machine is still working, for now. But there's a sign taped to the screen. Maximum withdrawal, $200. Your $47,200 is still showing on your app. But you are standing in a line that stretches around the block, holding a card, staring at a machine that will give you $200 of your own money and make you feel grateful for it. And here is where the real question begins. What did people hold that actually survived this? Not stocks. Markets collapsed. Not bonds. Governments defaulted. Not cash. Hyperinflation consumed it. Not real estate. Transactions froze. Liquidity vanished overnight. Every asset you were told to trust had a failure mode. So what survived? History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it rhymes. Loudly, consistently. Across every major collapse, Weimar Germany, Argentina, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Cyprus, researchers found the same pattern among ordinary survivors. Not the wealthy, not the connected, people exactly like you. They shared three things. They held assets outside the banking system. They held things with real utility in the physical world, regardless of what any government or institution decided. And they held things that required no third party's permission to use. This does not mean gold buried in your backyard. Gold has a limited, historically complicated role, but gold failed ordinary people in more collapses than it saved them, because gold requires a functioning marketplace to convert into necessities. When markets freeze, gold becomes a heavy object nobody can make change for. What actually worked was simpler. Productive assets, things that generate value independent of financial systems, land that grows food, tools that produce something people need, skills that communities will always pay for, even when currency itself becomes worthless. In Weimar Germany, a skilled carpenter preserved their standard of living, while professionals with bank savings were financially annihilated. Real commodities tied to survival needs, not as speculation, as stored purchasing power that no government can freeze and no app can make temporarily unavailable, and community. The most consistent survival asset across every collapse ever documented was not a financial instrument. It was trusted human networks, people with skills to trade and relationships that functioned outside centralized systems. So you sit at your kitchen table, the same table where you used to open your banking app and feel okay, and you start thinking differently, not with panic, with clarity. You are not going to stop saving, but you are going to stop pretending that a number on a bank screen is the same thing as security. Real security has weight. It has utility. It exists in the physical world, not in a database that can display temporarily unavailable at any moment it chooses. Your $47,200 taught you something no bank ever would. Safety was never about where you kept your money. It was always about what your money was converted into, and whether that thing could survive the moment the system decided you no longer could. The middle class didn't fail because it was careless. It failed because it was trusting. And trust, in a system designed to extract from you, is the most expensive thing you will ever spend.
I've been